Hello everyone and welcome to another video review from 3dgamingman.com. I'm Rodney Reynolds and today I'm having a look at the FSP Hydro G 850 watt power supply. Now there are tons of power supplies on the market, so how does this one set itself apart from those? Well, you can customize it. I'll go into that in just a minute. Also, it is completely modular, comes with an amazing warranty, Japanese capacitors, and it's not going to break the bank. It comes in this spiffy, very informative box that has plenty of pictures as well as features and specifications about the product on it. Inside, they include the user's manual as well as stickers. I'll go over that in just a minute. And the power supply, which is in this plastic bag. And in this box, they include the power cord, 4 black screws for mounting the power supply in the case, and all of the flat, flexible modular leads. A pretty sweet looking power supply, right? Let me get into that a little later on. First of all, there are 3 power supplies in the Hydro series, a 650, 750, and this one, an 850, and of course I will be reviewing this model today. Now, speaking of wattage, how is it determined? Well, to understand that, you need to know what rails are, and rails are basically well-regulated transformers which convert domestic current into the voltages that your computer system can use. And there are essentially 2 different rails, the 3.3/5 volt rail and the 12 volt rail. Now in this particular case, the approximate maximum peak output of the 3.3/5 volt rail is 150 watts and the 12 volt is 850 watts, which is essentially how the wattage of this power supply is determined. Now, the 3.3/5 volt rail is responsible for the motherboard, memory, PCI cards, and so on, while the 12 volt rail is responsible for the hard drives, optical drives, fans, CPU, video cards, etc. It's also important to know the peak amps on each rail, and the plus 3.3 volt and plus 5 volt rails are 25 amps each, and it has a single plus 12 volt rail which is 70.83 amps. Now, in all my power supply video reviews, I go through the things that are important when selecting one, but if you've watched my video reviews on power supplies before, you've heard this many times. Of course, you have the option to skip this part if you want to, although there is some information in here about this power supply specifically. Okay, so the first thing is wattage. Determine how much wattage you are going to require by the amount of hardware that you will be installing. Now, generally speaking, a medium to high-end gaming rig will require a 500 to 700 watt power supply. For a hardcore system, select a power supply like this one, around 800 watts. If, however, you are building an extreme gaming rig with a top of the line multiple video card setup with lots of other hardware, select a power supply that's 1000 watts or greater. Second, it should be at or above 80% efficiency, and this power supply's efficiency is 90% at typical load, so that's not an issue here. Third, it should meet the latest ATX and other current standards, environmental directives, over voltage, under voltage, and other protections, and this power supply meets all current standards. Fourth, I'd recommend choosing a power supply that has APFC or active power factor correction, assist the power supply in being more efficient and therefore stable under load. APFC basically reduces total harmonics, corrects input voltage, and it allows for full input voltage range. And thankfully, this power supply has APFC. Fifth, there are 3 main certifications, 80+, NVIDIA SLI, and AMD Crossfire. Now, many of today's high-end power supplies will meet 1 or more of these certifications, and this power supply meets the 80+ Gold certification. 6, look for a power supply that uses Japanese capacitors, because generally speaking, one that does will be more reliable than one that has low-grade capacitors. Now, what are low-grade capacitors? Well, that would be, capacitors from China. Taiwanese capacitors aren't too bad, but the best bet is to go with a power supply that does use Japanese capacitors, and this one does. Finally, get a power supply that has enough leads for your setup. Also consider one that has a modular design, because it does reduce the cable mess inside of the case. Also, it's very important to get a power supply with an excellent warranty, because if anything goes wrong within that period, you are covered, and this power supply comes with a 5-year warranty. Now, I think you'll agree this is a sweet looking power supply with its unique ventilation holes and differently styled fan grill. And by the way, it comes with a 135mm fluid dynamic bearing fan, which is quiet, but it will only kick in when it's at around 25% loading. Other than that, it is completely silent. It also comes with a power switch, and here's where the power cord gets connected. Now, what about customizing the power supply? Well, as you've seen before, there are these stickers. This one's already installed, but of course you could install these if you want to match the power supply up with your particular case color theme. Now have a look at the modular connectors. They are all labeled, and as well the flat, flexible modular leads. I love these things. First of all, they look sweet, but as well, you can route them around just about anything. So is this power supply worth your hard-earned money? Well, I'll leave that decision to you. But that being said, you're getting a lot for an affordable price. It's customizable with the stickers, completely modular, comes with a 135mm fan that's very quiet, and it performs extremely well. Plus, it has Japanese capacitors and an excellent warranty. Keep in mind though, it is 117mm in length. So if you're looking for a power supply in this wattage range that has to be super compact, just keep that in mind. Other than that though, this is a 100% kick-ass product. Until next time, take care. Well, that's it, but I hope you enjoyed the review. And if you think this and other videos that I produce are great, please like them, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, your comments are very welcome. And if you have any questions, let me know.